Have you ever met somebody who's always eating clean, always doing cardio, always working out, yet somehow they just can't seem to lose weight, they can't seem to lose that last little pouch, and they just can't seem to make it happen? Well, there could be a variety of reasons for this, but today we're going to dive into the reason that I see with a lot of people, which is that they don't strength train, especially nowadays when the gym shut down. A lot of people fell out of rhythm if they were doing it before, or a lot of people just haven't gotten into it. And so you might be trying to lose weight by doing a bunch of other stuff, and you can lose weight doing other stuff, but I truly believe that strength training is an absolute essential of fat loss. And if you don't do strength training, that you are missing out massively on one of the best levers that you can pull to lose fat really quickly and have an amazing physique underneath once you lose the fat, because you're going to have muscle. And you can build those proportions however you like. If you're a woman, maybe you want to have more glutes. And if you're a guy, obviously, maybe you want to have more shoulders, more arms, whatever else. This is why I got to wear the glasses to balance out my appearance here. But anyways, I've got a little presentation for you guys today that's going to teach you guys about why strength training is essential for fat loss for both men and women, and also kind of the consequences of not strength training. But then also I'm going to go into some steps on how to get into strength training, the 5 steps that you can follow today. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly the 5 steps you need to follow to get into strength training so you can get started right away. Because when you don't strength train, more of what you eat goes to fat. Okay, because you're not stimulating muscle growth, so why would your body send the food that you eat anywhere else other than fat? Your body isn't able to best utilize the nutrients that you consume for both energy and muscle growth, especially the latter here. And if that's the case, then more of these calories get stored as fat, to where even if you're eating clean and even if you're doing a bunch of workouts like cardio, which can sometimes increase your appetite and make you eat more calories to compensate, well, what ends up happening is you just get a lot of these calories stored as fat. Additionally, if you're not strength training, your body's going to produce less testosterone, and that also messes with your estrogen balance, which is important for both men and women. For women, it can increase the risk of breast cancer if your estrogen balance is off. And then obviously, if your body has less testosterone, less good estrogen, your body's going to produce more cortisol and bad estrogen. Now, we're not going to go super deep into the whole estrogen stuff. I usually talk more about testosterone, cortisol, thyroid hormone, but this stuff's all really, really important. And then the last thing to account for is the fact that if you don't strength train, your body is naturally going to lose muscle year over year, whether you're a man or a woman. And when you lose muscle, your metabolism is going to slow down because muscle actually burns a lot of calories on a daily basis. So when you have more muscle on your frame, it passively burns calories even when you're at rest. So on the flip side, though, when you do strength train, even if you're just strength training 3 days a week, which is very easy to fit in your schedule, 30 to 45 minute workouts, obviously do more if you can, but if you can't, 30 to 40 is adequate. And what happens is that when you strength train, more of what you eat is going to go to muscle and less is going to go to fat, which means that if you're a newbie, so, obviously if you're Mr. Olympia, you're not just going to lose fat just by strength training because you're already strength training. So you got to do a lot more to lose fat at that stage. But, we're not talking Mr. Olympia here. Mr. Olympia is not watching this video. And if you are, what's up, Ronnie? But anyways, so, but if you haven't worked out properly or consistently, or you haven't been working out properly or consistently, you're going to see intrinsic fat loss as a byproduct. Now, my definition of properly is pretty strict. You might think you know how to work out properly, but if you don't have the results you want, you're not working out properly and you're not eating properly. So I'm going to teach you how to do that today, at least the working out portion. And I'll talk a little bit about nutrition today too, because that's important for getting into strength training. And so because more of what you eat is going to go towards muscle growth, especially when you eat enough protein, which we're going to talk about in the nutrition section of today's video, you're intrinsically going to see fat loss as a byproduct of strength training simply because your nutrient partitioning improves. Now, before all the internet scientists pop on here and say, oh no, you can't gain muscle and lose fat at the same time, understand that I'm not talking to somebody who's already been training consistently and properly for 2 to 3 years. If that's the case, yeah, you're going to have to choose either fat loss or muscle growth, but you're not going to be able to have both. But if it's been a while since you've been consistent, or if you're not training optimally right now and you're struggling to get results, by learning how to train properly and consistently, you will see intrinsic fat loss in the process of gaining muscle because your nutrient partitioning improves, okay? And what that means is that more of what you eat goes towards muscle and less goes towards fat. So even if you're eating the same amount of calories, again, you're initially going to lose fat. When you're getting those newbie gains and those muscle memory gains, again, if you haven't worked out in a while, you're going to get the muscle memory gains. And if you haven't worked out properly before, you're going to get newbie gains. And then if you have both, if you haven't worked out in a while and you used to work out, and you didn't work out properly or whatever, you're going to get, if you worked out properly, you get muscle memory gains. But anyways, before I go on a tangent with that, when you strength train, your body produces more testosterone, which is going to improve your estrogen balance for both men and women, and also lower your cortisol. And a little hack that you can add to this: if you take 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C after you lift, your cortisol gets blunted right away, because your cortisol does temporarily go up when you train, which means that your testosterone will be even higher because it doesn't have to combat the cortisol, and you have less cortisol. Which is just good for fat loss, muscle growth, general well-being, stress levels, not being burnt out, everything. And then obviously if you're strength training, you're doing it properly and consistently, your body is going to gain muscle year over year, which means that your metabolism is going to slow up, because the more muscle you have on your frame, the more calories you burn daily, even when you're at rest. And so the beautiful thing about this is that you're going to have more flexibility with your diet because your metabolism is fast and because your nutrient partitioning are dialed in like a high performance machine. Okay. So that's the beautiful thing about this. Now, obviously that doesn't mean go eat inflammatory foods, because as you saw in yesterday's video, even if you're dialed in, if you eat some stuff that just causes massive inflammation, then that's also going to mess you up. So if you want to learn more about that, go check out the video I did yesterday, or any of my other content and future content and past content on dietary inflammation and how lowering inflammation is one of the fastest ways to speed up your metabolism. Now, at this point, if you're still watching this, you probably want to learn how to get into strength training, because you're obviously going to be bought in on the benefits here. And did I mention that strength training is very time efficient? I think I did. So there's 5 steps to getting into strength training, and this was actually prompted from a conversation I was having with my cousin. She was asking me a couple questions, and it led me to actually create this video. So I appreciate you, Usma, my cousin. Shout out to you for inspiring this video. Now, the first step you need to follow when it comes to getting into strength training is you need to make sure that your posture and technique are on point, because if your posture and technique are not on point, you're going to hurt yourself, okay? Because strength training is dangerous if you don't do it properly. And I'm going to dive into each of these steps throughout this video today. Now, the second thing you need to do is you need to learn how to optimize your mind-muscle connection so you can get the most efficient results out of your strength training. So what that means is it means when you're lifting, you need to make sure you're contracting the muscle with intention. You need to make sure that you're working the right muscle. And I'm going to dive into this in today's video as well and show you how to do that, okay? The third thing you need to do is you need to set up a proper routine that allows you to make progress, that also sustainably fits in your schedule. I'm going to go over some of my templates today. I'm also going to live demo a couple templates that I actually use with clients, so you can see exactly what my clients are doing, exactly how we track everything as well, which is step number 4, is you got to track your numbers so that you can actually make this process fun, because everybody likes watching their numbers go up. I mean, who doesn't like watching their bank account go up? So likewise, as you watch your body weight go in the direction you want it to go, whether that's down if you want to lose fat, or whether that's up if you want to gain muscle, or maybe a combination of both, as you watch your body fat percentage go down, as you watch your the amount of calories you can eat every day while still getting great results go up, whatever other numbers you like to watch, you're going to watch them go up. So you're going to watch your strength numbers go up, and it's going to make things fun because you're seeing the results that your body produces. And then the last thing is just make sure you're getting in enough protein, calories, and sleep so that your recovery is on point. You can also do some stretching to help with recovery too, but that kind of goes beyond the scope of this video. But I got a lot of other content on my channel about how to stretch, how to warm up properly, so make sure to check that out. But even so, I'm still going to go into a quick live demo of the posture playbook to show you how to fix your posture. Now, I live demoed this on my video the other day, but I've got all these little tabs open for you guys here so you guys can check this out. So this is a book that I wrote a while back that just dives into some of the basics of how to improve your posture. And I'm happy to send this to you. If you want it, just comment, let me know. I might even attach the link in the description here as well. But yeah, so you got to look at the common posture issues you're going to have. I'm going to talk about the top 3, which are the 3 that I cover in this book. So the first one's forward head posture. If you have forward head posture from sitting in front of a desk, I have it too, but I know how to fix it. So I fix it every day before I lift, and usually every day even if I don't lift, so I can make sure that I'm not screwing myself up and inhibiting my longevity here. So when it comes to fixing your posture, there's always a 4-step warm-up process, which is covered here as well as in some of the other videos on my YouTube channel. The first thing is you got to foam roll the different muscles that are either locked short or locked long, or see a bodywork practitioner in your local area, or both. So what I do is I do both. I go get massages at least once every 2 weeks. Super important, good deep tissue massage. Got my next one coming up on the 18th, and I'm slightly dreading it because my massage therapist is crazy and goes super hard, but it's always worth it. Anyways, so step 2 is you got to stretch the muscle. So in this particular case, for the forward head posture, you want to stretch the shoulders and the chest and all that other stuff, right? Step 3 is you got to activate the right muscles that maintain the right posture, and then step 4 is you got to integrate that into dynamic movement. And the same applies here with upper cross syndrome, which correlates with forward head posture. Very similar 4 steps. And then I also have this video called the Ultimate Bench Press Injury Prevention Workout Series, where you can check that out, where I did this video with my good friend Ken Kirk, where we actually cover that as well. That's on the YouTube channel as well. And if you click on the posture playbook, you can also access that YouTube video here. But if you're watching this on my YouTube right now, just click over to the next video on my channel. Just search it on there, and it's like a couple videos down. Now, the last thing is going to be lower cross syndrome and anterior pelvic tilt. This happens also from sitting. So again, same 4-step process. Foam roll to loosen up the knots and the muscles that are locked long or locked short. From there, stretch the muscles into the right alignment. From there, activate the right muscles that hold the right alignment. And then from there, integrate into proper dynamic movement. So that is it for that. So I'm going to close that. And then the next thing that we're going to dive into, whoops, let me just close this real quick. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to dive into how to build mind-muscle connection, because that's step 2 of getting into strength training. So the first thing you need to do is you need to do activator sets, and you need to learn how to position your joints properly when you're actually doing the lifts. Okay, so if I'm bench pressing like this, I'm putting my shoulders at risk, and I'm probably doing more harm than good. I'm doing a lot of damage. I'm not actually working the chest, I'm working the shoulders, right? So it's important that you know how to position your joints properly, which is why it's important you fix your posture first. And now your posture, shoulders back, chest up. From there, if you're doing chest, you got to be able to squeeze the muscle. So squeeze the chest. Don't just squeeze the shoulder. You want to squeeze the chest. So you see that coming together right there, right? If you're training glutes, let's say that you're a girl and you want to have a bigger butt or a nicer butt, you got to learn how to activate the glutes in isolation before you then go to do a compound lift. Unless you could already feel on the compound lift. If you're already doing that, then you're good to go. You don't need to do the activation stuff. But if you don't feel the right muscle working, maybe you feel your legs more than your butt when you're squatting, you need to learn how to activate your butt first so you can activate it when you squat and keep your knees safer, your back safer, and of course, get the results where you want them, as opposed to just getting bigger legs or more toned legs, which is nice too, and it's another benefit of squats. But if you want to get a nicer butt, which 99% of the women I talk to do, well, guess what? You're going to have to learn how to activate your butt on squats. And the booty band stuff is great for activation, but it's not going to build your butt the way that like squats, deadlifts, hip thrusts, the heavy lifts will. So that's another benefit of strength training. It helps you build the proportions you want. Same for the guys. If you're just doing chest flies all day, your chest is going to get a little bigger, but it's not the same as doing heavy bench press with good form, heavy incline bench with good form. I also just posted a short on my YouTube channel about the top exercises for incline bench, but obviously if you want to watch a longer video on how to train chest, check out the one that I just mentioned in the Posture Playbook. It's freaking awesome. Likewise, another muscle people struggle to activate and grow: rear delts. Okay, the muscle in the back of the shoulder. So that's a huge one. And I always pair that up with chest, as you're going to see when I talk about routines, because if you only work on your chest and you don't work on your rear delts, you're going to get way out of balance. Okay. So, I have activators for each muscle, and if you have a specific question about how to activate a certain muscle, just comment down below and say, hey, I'm struggling to activate this muscle. Can you teach me how to do it, right? For lats, I posted a vlog a while back where I show my activator where I do pullovers before I do lats. Maybe you struggle to activate your rhomboids. I can shoot a video on how to activate your rhomboids. Whatever muscle that you struggle to activate and grow, let me know. Forearms, that's one I struggled with too for a long time, where I never had good forearms, so I never looked jacked in a t-shirt, so I learned how to build my forearms. So just different little things like that. But anyways, let me pop back into my slideshow here. So what I want you to do is find somebody who knows what they're doing to technique review you, okay? So that could be a trainer at the gym. That could be a friend of yours. If you know me, that could be me. I also do technique reviews for clients. And, what I'll do too is I might attach a link down below to maybe have a member of my team do a technique review audit for you, or even do like a quick 10-15 minute call to technique review you. So if you see that in the description, take advantage of that if you're interested. If not, though, if I don't put that in the link, maybe our teams are booked out or whatever, we don't have time to do free technique reviews, then, maybe in the future we'll open up that opportunity for more people to get a free technique review done by us. But if it's in the comments down below, feel free to check that out and get a free technique review done by us. And then, I just went through some examples of activator sets. And then the last point I want to make about mind-muscle connection there is make sure that you go slow and light when you do strength movements. That way you can actually learn the form and take that mind muscle connection you have from the activator sets and apply it. Because let's say that you go do activator sets, but then you go swing around weights the wrong way because you're going too heavy and you're trying to use momentum to lift it, then obviously you're not actually going to get the results. Versus when you're first getting into strength training, go really slow, really light. Nobody's going to look at you and laugh at you that you're lifting very little weight at the gym. And if they are, well, they're probably don't have good results themselves, because if they're serious about lifting, they're focused on their own zone. And if they see a newbie in the gym, they're going to applaud you for getting in the gym and learning how to do this stuff. And anybody else, screw them. They're negative people. You don't want negative people in your life anyways. But yeah, so, go slow and light. Don't be self-conscious. Ask a friend who knows what they're doing to come to the gym with you so they can review you. And from there, you can learn the form and make sure that you're using the right mind-muscle connection, doing it properly, so that when you get into heavyweights later, you're doing it properly, you're going to get efficient results and not mess yourself up. Now, the third point that I want to cover today is how do you set up a routine. So there are two templates that I like, and I literally just wrote them as a one-liner here, but I'm also going to live demo what some of the client routines look like inside of my program, so you can actually see exactly what I have clients do, so you can go apply that on your own and get results as well. So the first thing, 3-day routines. There's 2 3-day routines I like. So for men, what I do is I start off with squat. So day 1 is going to be a squat, horizontal push, horizontal pull. Day 2 is going to be a hip hinge, vertical push, vertical pull. And then day 3 is an upper bodybuilding day. For women, we want to swap out the upper body of the day for a glute day, and you want to put it midweek, so you do your hip hinge at the end of the week. And I'll show you what each of these templates look like, so you actually know what exercise I put in, what assistance exercise I put in after these main lifts, so you can see how this helps you develop the muscles. We're actually combining strength training with a little bit of bodybuilding training to allow you to get the benefits of both within one session, and also the bodybuilding training complements the strength training to build the right posture, build the right proportions, and hit any lagging muscle groups that aren't fully hit by the main lifts. Now, the 4 to 5 day routine template I like to use is legs Monday, chest and rear delts Tuesday. Remember, you always want to couple these two together so that you keep the shoulder joint balanced. Day 3, Wednesday, active recovery day, optional. Day 4, back and deadlifts. Day 5, shoulders and arms. You can also split shoulders and arms into separate days in some conditions depending on what you like, but usually going more than 4 days a week isn't really optimal for most people, because especially if you have a high pressure job, career, business, whatever, and maybe you got kids, maybe you got a relationship, you're not going to have the time or energy to recover from all that stuff and train more than like 4 to 5 days a week. For many people, 3 days is the most practical anyways, right? So anyways, let's pop into some client routines so I can show you exactly what these things look like, and then I'll show you the numbers of one of my clients. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop in here. I'm going to show you what some of the routines look like. So I'll actually pop into, well, let's pop into this 3-day routine. Let me just find the right 3-day routine. I believe this is it right here. So essentially, I'll show you what each day looks like. So we do a proper warm up. So like I said, a squat motion for legs. And actually for this one, I switched it up a little bit and I put a vertical press variation with a vertical pull variation. And I have some progressions for pull-ups that a lot of people do pull-ups if you can't do a pull-up right now. So you would need to progress into this, obviously. And then the assistance lifts I put are walking lunges, rear delt rows, shoulder saver side raises, and then a pullover variation. And then in later weeks, I actually add Zottman curls to this as well, so you get a little bit of arm volume as well as we kind of ramp these things up. Now, day 2 within this routine, again, going back to the simple beginning part, is so again, we do the warm-up. Then from there, it's a horizontal press, and then I actually threw in a hip hinge deadlift variation there. So this is a variation. I mean, there's a bunch of different templates we can use and customize to the individual, but and I made this a little bit more of a back day because this particular template is designed for a lot of online entrepreneurs who work 8 to 12 hours a day in front of the computer. So I emphasize a lot of back work to make sure that these guys are balancing out their posture. So we're still getting a little bit of legs from the deadlifts, but we're also getting a lot of back work from there. And then finally, day 3 is an upper bodybuilding day. So, more of, so we're getting a little bit more chest, but more of the incline, so the aesthetics as opposed to the size, so to speak. And then chin-ups, dumbbell incline bench, rear delt rows, chest flies and rear delt flies, Zottman curls. And again, we beef up that day in later weeks within this template to make sure that, so we actually move deadlifts over, we move a little bit of abs, and then we also put in a couple more arm exercises there. Okay, so that's a 3-day variation. Now to show you a 4-day variation, let me actually pull up Legacy, which is one of my most popular strength training programs. So pretty cool stuff. Now this is more of an advanced program, but it follows a similar template. In fact, yeah, I'll show you guys this one. Now I'll show you guys actually, I'll show you guys a different one because this is more advanced and this is videos about how to get into strength training for beginners, right? So, and as you can see, this one has way more clients in it simply because, more people who are coming to me. I don't get a whole lot of people who are at an advanced level because that's not really what I specialize in. I specialize more in, helping people who need to get consistent, need to learn how to train properly. Not necessarily newbies, but, people who are taking some action but they're not getting results. We want to make sure that we fix that, and that's what this kind of intro strength training program is all about. So anyways, foam rolling, corrective exercise series, squat variation, support squat variation, walk-in lunges, side step-ups, absolute game changer, will help you so much with your form and with your balance of the knee. And then I do a leg finisher, and this is optional, but just for the psychos who like to feel like they got destroyed after every workout, I put that in there. That's not everybody, so that's why it's optional, but I do have a couple psychos who like to go hard. But it's not even necessary. I don't do the finisher myself because I prioritize recovery, but some guys like to go really hard. Now, and I'll show you guys what the women's one looks like in a sec too. If you're a woman watching, just hang tight. So same thing, warm everything up. Then we got our bench press variation. Then we superset everything with rear delts. So secondary bench press variation, usually an incline bench, face pulls, dumbbell incline press with rear delt rows, chest flies with rear delt cable flies, and then optional finisher, push-ups and swimmers. This is a great one. Again, customizable to the individual. So obviously, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I can't do 10 push-ups yet, that's fine. Do a different progression of push-ups and work up to it. Or let's say that maybe you're more advanced and somehow you're still stumbling on this video. Well, do more than 10 push-ups then. Do 20, right? So active recovery day, pretty simple. Deadlifts and back, so all the warm-ups, deadlift variation, pull-up variation, dumbbell rows, lat pull-downs, cable rows, pullover for finisher. That's a finisher that I highly recommend. You don't make it optional, but again, finishers are finishers. The bulk of the work comes from the main lifts. So now this is an interesting one because a lot of people do like overhead press first when they do shoulders, but I'm actually a big believer in hitting rear delts first. If you hit overhead press and your front delt gets all pumped up, it's impossible to hit rear delts. So I like to hit rear delt first, then overhead press, then hit rear delts again to bring the pump back to the rear delts so that when you hit shoulder saver side raises, you're not working the front of your shoulder and all that stuff, but you're actually working the sides of your shoulders and getting those side delts. And then from there, we got a bunch of great stuff for arms, and that's pretty much it for one of the basic strength training programs. Now, a little bit later down the road, what we do is we flip the routine. Arm. So this is an example of like swapping everything else out. So we'll do like a big arm day like this, right? Crazy ass arm day. Feel free to pause that and screenshot it if you want to go try this workout out. And then squat and legs, all that stuff, right? Again, feel free to screenshot and try it out if you want. This is more advanced though, so this is not for the beginners. Shoulder day. So what shoulder day looks like. So again, we're separating arms and shoulders. And then high volume back day. Boom. And of course, bench day, which again, I usually like to put that earlier in the week, but in this particular routine, we're switching it up. Now, let me show you what the women's program looks like. So how you want to set this up. Okay. So I will show you right now. So again, I keep it super simple because the women who I work with, and I work with more men than women, but the women who I work with are stressed out professionals. They work a lot of hours. They've got high pressure careers. And so to train more than 3 days a week would be detrimental because one of the biggest reasons why women in their 30s and 40s who have serious careers or businesses struggle to lose weight is because their cortisol levels are too high, just like men who are in a similar situation. So what we need to do is we need to minimize training volume and get the most out of as little as possible so that we get great results without jacking up your cortisol further. So again, like I said, squat, a little more emphasis on legs, horizontal push, horizontal pull, just like I was talking about when I was talking about the templates and the theoreticals. Day 2 is a glute emphasized day with a little bit of upper body, so you can screenshot that and try it out if you like. Obviously, if you need help with the technique reviews, make sure to find somebody or just hit me up. Just comment down below with the word technique review, and I'll reach out with how to get one of those technique reviews if that's something you're interested in, or find somebody to do it live with you in the gym, like again, a trainer at your gym or a friend who knows what they're doing. And then finally, after the stretches, of course, deadlifts, overhead press or vertical push, vertical pull, and then arm superset. So again, that's typically how we set things up. And I'm going to pop back into this, and then I think I have one more live demo for you, which is how to track your numbers. Okay, so this is also important. Is you always want to track your numbers, because if you're just strength training with no purpose, but you're not actually knowing how to track your numbers, that's kind of not the best scenario for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you. So this is how we plan numbers, right? So we have spreadsheets where we'll put in our training maxes, and you want to be able to calculate these numbers based on a few percentages. So it looks like I entered in a couple things. So I'll pull up a different client's numbers. Waleed numbers. There it is. Actually, this might be the wrong one. This might be a meal plan. Oh no, there it is. Perfect. So again, what we have here is numbers that are based on calculations. So like using percentages of the max. This is important. So you need to know how to plan your numbers. And this looks more complicated than it is. Like in the beginning, you don't really need to plan your numbers in this advanced of a way. Like literally, if you just add 5 to 10 pounds every single week, you can make a lot of progress like that in the beginning. Once you get your technique down, you're doing strength training. But I recommend training in about the 6 to 8 rep range initially, and then eventually you want to get into the 4 rep range. I find works really well, but it just depends on the person. So and then obviously you want to track those things. So like for instance, what I have here is tracking. And actually, I won't share that just because I need to get clearance first before I share. I mean, I'm sure some of my clients wouldn't mind, but I just obviously want to get clearance on that first since I keep everything confidential. But we track the numbers every single week. We track KPIs and data because that's just really important. Just like, in business or your career or your finances, you want to track the numbers to make sure that you get the results you want. Same thing here. You want to track your numbers to make sure you get the results you want. And the final point I'm going to touch on is nutrition, fuel, recovery. So the biggest thing is you want to make sure that you're getting enough protein. Now, the best place to start, in my experience and in my opinion, is 1 gram per pound in body weight and protein per day. sorry, 1 gram per pound in body weight and protein a day. I think I said that right. So if you weigh more than 150 as a woman, though, you can just cap it at 150. That's usually enough for most women. And for men, it's usually 200 is where you cap it. Like, let's say you weigh 300 pounds, you probably only need 200 grams of protein. But there's some cases, like if you're a 6'6" athlete as a man, you might need a little more than 200 grams of protein. Like, I have a friend named James who's like 6'6", 6'8", some crazy number, and he's a great coach as well, actually. And he weighs like 275. He's like 125 kilos, which is crazy. So as a tall, jacked athlete, he probably needs at least 300 grams of protein a day, possibly even 400. But again, he's an athlete. He trains really hard. His needs are much higher than the average person who just wants to get into strength training. You start at this number. If you struggle to eat this much, but you're getting good results, you can reduce that number. And this is what I do with clients too, is like, let's say you're struggling to eat that much protein, but you are getting good results, we'll reduce it. Because that makes it more sustainable to hit, and you're still getting good results anyways. And as long as the results are still good, we can stick with a lower amount of protein. Like, there's some people, like, for those of you who know who Greg O'Gallagher is, he's a popular YouTuber. He only needs 0.7 grams per pound of body weight and protein a day, and he has great results. He looks fucking amazing. My friend Dylan, he's a pro bodybuilder, and he only needs 0.7 as well because he absorbs protein really well. Now, myself, I tend to need more. I always get at least 200, and I weigh, 220. But I've needed as high as 300, especially when I'm training really hard. My friend Max trains super hard as well. He needs 1.5. He weighs 200. He eats 300 grams of protein a day. That's what he needs. But it just depends on the person. He's eating as high as 350, actually. So yeah, it just depends. And likewise, if your results aren't good, starting at just 1 gram per pound of body weight and protein a day, and you have the appetite to eat more, then obviously you want to increase that protein so you can get better results, as long as everything else is dialed in. Because obviously if everything else isn't dialed in, then that's why you're not getting results, not because of the protein amount. So anyways, that's my philosophy on protein. And then as far as calories, not everybody's going to be able to hit 12 to 15 times body weight in calories per day. But it depends on your weight, your diet, your age, your height, your workout history, your stress levels, your activity levels. But if your metabolism, body fat percentage are optimized, you should be able to hit 12 to 15 times body weight, which is the target that I have for anybody who does the metabolic method. It's just a method that I use to help people increase their metabolism, which helps them get really good results. And again, I think I've already have other videos on this channel about that. But I'll be doing plenty more on the metabolic method as well, so you guys can learn more about how to boost your metabolism. I think I already have quite a few videos on that on this channel, though, so check those out, and obviously subscribe so that when I release future videos on that, you're subscribed and you'll be able to be one of the first people to see that. The next thing is sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. I'm not going to try to convince you to do this, because in the last video I went pretty hard on like trying to convince all the entrepreneurs who think you need to hustle 18 hours a day and only sleep 4 hours a night like Gary Vee. It's a bunch of bullshit. You're not Gary Vee, so you fucking need to sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. You're a human being, so make sure you take care of that. And then obviously nutrition does require quite a bit of individualization. I've given you some guidelines here, but obviously I want to make sure that you understand that nutrition still requires a lot of individualization, especially when it comes to inflammation, all that other stuff. But anyways, if you have any questions or there's anything that I covered here briefly that you'd like me to go into greater detail with, please comment down below and let me know what questions you have and what future topics you'd like me to address. I'm committed to putting out, how many videos am I committed to putting out? I mean, at least a couple videos a week, but I want to get out like at least 5 YouTube videos a week, possibly 7, possibly 10, possibly 14. I mean, if I could do 2 a day, that'd be amazing. And I love shooting these videos. This is my zone of genius right here. So the more ideas and questions you give me, the better. I get a lot of questions from people who I'm talking to, from friends, from clients, from prospects, from subscribers, from followers. So, I do have a wealth of different topics to cover, but if you're one of my subscribers and you enjoyed this video and you want me to cover any specific topic, you're my subscriber. I want to cater to you. I want to make sure this content is relevant to you and that you enjoy it, and this content's so good that you want to share it with other people. So let me know what you and your friends and colleagues and whoever else and family want to know, and I'm happy to address it in future videos. I'm grateful for you to ask these questions. Even though I'm the one answering your question, I'm grateful to receive that question from you, because it gives me amazing ideas for relevant content, ideas for the videos. And I probably should have had my face so you can see how sincere I am when I'm saying that, but I truly mean it. I want you guys to send me questions, because that is how I can make this content the best possible for you. And then also, if you want to do technique reviews, like I said, if I have spots on my team, I'll talk to my team, make sure they're down to do it. I'll attach the link below. Give me a couple days after I release this video to obviously, implement that and put that on the description. But if so, that'll be available. And if it isn't available, but you're interested in it, just comment down below with the word technique review, and we'll reach out once we do have spots for technique review, so we can give you a technique review. But in the meantime, just hit up one of your friends who knows how to work out. They can help you out as well, or hit up a trainer at your local gym, whatever else, and they'll be happy to help you out. But obviously, if you want us to help you, let us know as well. And as far as nutrition goes, If you want some individualized help with nutrition or you have questions, just comment down below. Let us know what your questions are, and we'll do future videos on it so you can learn a little bit more specifically what to do. And then, of course, like, comment, subscribe. If you like this type of content, we're happy to have you here on this channel. We want to cater to you. We want to make this the most valuable channel possible to you. So myself and my team will do everything in our power to make sure that we're delivering you the best videos possible based on your questions, based on your needs. So like, comment, let us know your questions, subscribe so you can see our answers to your questions, and stay tuned for more videos. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.